Hey, it's Mrs. Gilling here with a video assignment for some help on your discussion lesson 2, all about perspectives of psychology. Before we do that, though, I do have something special for you, something that I call the joke. Joke of the lesson, joke of the video assignment, whatever you want to call it. But here it is. What's the difference between a psychologist and a magician? You ready? A magician pulls rabbits out of hats, but a psychologist pulls habits out of rats. Get it? Because magicians, the rabbit in the hat, and psychologists, they work with rats. All right, let's talk about your discussion prompt. Here it is. In lesson 2, you learned about the 4 major perspectives in psychology: psychodynamic, behavioral, humanistic, and cognitive. With that in mind, please complete the following steps in at least one sentence each. By the time you're done with your post, you should have at least 9 sentences. So, before I go into each of those questions, I just want to give you a quick reminder that you honestly can find the answers to most of these questions within your readings. There's really no need to go do outside research on them unless you really want to. If you choose to use AI, you can use it as a reference. You can use it to get ideas, but you cannot just copy and paste what you see there and put it in here. That's not cool, not okay. I need to get your thoughts here and your ideas. I care what you think. So make sure that if you use AI, it's just to get ideas, but you're going in and answering these questions all on your own there. So question number 1, which psychology perspective did you most agree with? And keep in mind that these need to be complete sentences. So you might start that off by saying, the psychology perspective I agreed the most with was, and then put the answer down there. And it doesn't matter to me if you list them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and answer that way, or if you put them in paragraph form. That's totally fine too. Like if you want to blend them all together, whichever works best for you. Number 2, define that perspective in your own words. So whichever psychology perspective you most agreed with, you're going to list it in number 1, and then number 2, you're going to explain what it is. Give me a definition. Number 3, why do you agree with it the most? Number 4, I like this one. List a bad habit that you have observed in others or yourself. Like I know some people that bite their nails, that's a bad habit. Maybe people pick their nose, that's a bad habit. Maybe people interrupt, bad habit. There's so many bad habits. So pick one that maybe something you struggle with, maybe something you've seen other people struggle with, just whatever bad habit you want to talk about. Number 5, how might that bad habit be interpreted using that perspective? So that perspective you agree with, think about it and list, using that perspective, why do people have that bad habit, essentially. Number 6, which psychology perspective did you least agree with in the lesson? Number 7, define that perspective in your own words. So same thing we were doing at the beginning, just this time you're talking about the ones you agree with least instead of the ones you agree with the most. Number 8, why do you agree with it the least? And then number 9, think back to that habit that you mentioned earlier. How might that bad habit you discussed in number 4 be interpreted using that perspective? Sound good? Okay, here's how you'll be graded. Here's your discussion rubric. So you get 5 points for listing the perspective that you agree with the most. And then you get 10 points for defining that perspective in your own words. You get 10 more points for explaining why you agreed with that perspective the most. 5 points for listing a habit you observed. 10 points for analyzing how that bad habit could be interpreted using that perspective. 5 points for listing which perspective you agreed with the least. 10 points for defining the perspective in your own words. 10 points for explaining why you agree with that perspective the least. 10 points for analyzing how a bad habit could be interpreted using that perspective. And then you get 25 points for the grammar and sentence requirements. So you need to have at least 9 sentences for this one. And you need to make sure, you're capitalizing the beginning letter of each sentence, that you're ending with punctuation, doing your best on your spelling. I'm not super duper strict that everything's got to be exactly perfect, but it is important that it's readable. And I do pay really good attention to those simple things like capitalizing and punctuating. So make sure you're looking at those and getting your sentence count. As long as you do all of the steps, each one in a complete sentence, you will get the 9 sentences. That's not an issue. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. But other than that, here is your lucky rubber ducky. Good luck, guys. We'll catch you next time.